I want you girls to be like me.
We are running all girls must go to school. What we
は
currently
い、
we have
次の
for
タイトルですが、
we
ザ・ライオンキング、シンバズ・マイティ・アドベンチャー、カテゴリーは
for
2% となっており
So
ます。
our area of focus
司会引き
is
続き、
education,
私、木島しじまが、
and
務めさ
empowerment.
せていただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。
So I'm
と、
heading to the
こ
venue
ち
where
ら
the
は、
rap battle is being held.
と、
Hello. Hi. It's where
2000
we
2000
where
年
young
の
girls
12
can
月22
learn how
日
to
に、
be advocates,
プレイステーション
to
と、ゲームボーイ
know
カラー向
how
けに
to
発売され
speak
た
up
タ
for
イトル
themselves,
にな
to
っ
know
てい
how
る
to
よう
solve
です。
issues in their communities and how they can bring change.
日本ではおそらく発売されてないタイトルかと思います。現状、解説の方、いらっしゃらないので、もし、ストーリー等わかるよっていう方、いらっしゃれば、RTA 未経験でも問題ないですので、よろしければ、解説の方応募いただけますと幸いでございます。もちろん、チャット欄での、解説も、歓迎しておりますので、お気軽に、発言等していただけますと助かります。
I always get my inspiration from her. I want to do better. I want to make her proud because she's always saying I'm making her proud. And if I've done this little and she's this proud of me, I want to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, give it up for none other than the best dancer in this house, Daddy,
Say hey again.
aka AY.
I hope that these stories would have inspired you and that you would share it with your friends as well. And please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.
Well, that was some wonderful info. Always great to learn more about Malala Fund and all of the amazing things that they do for women all around the world. I am here for women's education around the world, and I
せっ
hope
か
you
く
all
な
are
の
too.
で、
I'm sure you are
今
because
回、
we are getting a donation for
ミラー
that.
配信
So
しているイ
exciting.
ベントについ
Plus
て、
donations
ちょ
in
っと
for that
軽
new
くご紹介
incentive,
させて
which
い
is
ただ
going to
こ
be
うかなと
so
思いま
good.
す。
We are over $300 now. I mean,
現在ジャパニーズリスト
$320 at
リ
least
ームでは、
$2,500 in just
フロ
a
スト
couple
フ
hours
ァ
ago.
タール
So
ズ
let's get to that
2023の様子を
$2,500
公認
mark.
で
I
日
want to
本語
see
話者
you
向けに
being
配信
bought.
しており
So
ま
it's
す。
one of my
フロ
top
ストファ
three
タールズ
favorite books of all
2023は
time.
女性に活躍の機会を設け
So
る
do me a
とい
favor,
う理
chat.
念の
Help
も
me
と、
out.
運営およびメインスタッフを女性で構成している団体が行うチャリティー RTA イベントです。
from EDL.
ゲームズタンクイックの、ツイッチチャンネルで行われております。
Almost 50K already. Keep
ち
slaying
な
the
みに、
game.
支援団体についてなんですが、こちらマララファンドとなっておりま
Really
す。
likes that.
マララファンドは、平等な教育機会を女性に提供するため活動している団体です。寄付の状況については、コマンドであれかな、確認ができるのかな。でもし直接の寄付が難しい場合は、イエティというサイトの方で、フロストファタールズ限定の T シャツやグッズを購入することで間接的な寄付を行うことも可能です。あ、間に合わなかった。はい、画面が来ましたね。
Hello everyone, DreamTora here, and I'm bringing you one of the best platformers on the PlayStation of One. This is The Lion King: Simba's Mighty Adventure, one of the more obscure of Disney Interactive PS1 games. And I have a commentator here with me who is going to be my moral support throughout this run.
Hello, everybody. I'm a kind of nerdy housewife, and I am ready for some
確
amazing
かに
gaming.
確かになんかちょっとサバンナっぽい感じはしますが
With that, I'm going to be getting into the game here. Timing starts as soon as I pick the first level. As a quick note, all of these levels are based off of the first and second Lion King movies. So, if in case you're wondering why the later levels look different than what you're used to with the first movie. That's just because it's, you know, both Lion Kings. Anyway,
本当だ。
we're gonna get into
タイトル画面
it
と
and
あれ
I'll be
だ。
starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
はい、タイマースタート
So this
で
first
す。グッ
level
ドラッ
we're
ク
going
です。
into Pride Rock is sort of the tutorial level where I am going to be getting going to be learning the different basic moves. There is one basic move that I'll be learning in this, which I will never use, and that is the roar mechanic.
Good morning, Master
Because it's the
Simba.
slowest.
Mufasa is waiting
But I will
for
be
you.
using the roll a lot and the pounce a lot for enemies. And one of the things I like to do in this particular level is I roll past triggers for the dialogue so that I can get a head start when they finish speaking.
For a longer jump, get a running start. Thanks, Noah. You're the best. Poor girl.
Does that
girl.
actually
Go ahead.
does that actually save time, or is that just
It
what you
saves
like
a
to
little
do?
bit.
こ
It
れ、
saves a little bit of time.
これ
I
プレイステー
think,
ション。
because you can at least get a little
うん。
bit of a head start when the dialogue finishes. So unfortunately, I haven't
頑張ってる
figured
な。
out how you're supposed to
すごい。
do that sort of thing on Mufasa here, but it's kind of not a big deal because
Thanks, Dad. I can't wait to roar like you.
as long as you get the other 3 rolls, you should be good to go. And so other than that, like, Simba automatically runs when you move forward, so there's like no special run button, and I missed the roll past the trigger there. So you can roll past Scar here before he begins talking.
Thanks, Uncle Scar. Now I can fight all by myself.
And Scar taught me the roll button, which is the first thing that I mentioned earlier that I'll be using throughout the run. This trigger's a little bit weird because it starts way before you think it does, so I kind of have to make sure as soon as I enter the cave I hit the roll button.
Thanks, Uncle Scar. That pounce is cool.
And Scar just taught us how to pounce, which the pounce is going to be used mostly for boss
あ、
battles.
一応あれですね。なんか
But
体力ゲージあ
sometimes
るみ
I
たいです
will
ね。
automatically pounce on things
Thanks,
when
Noah. That'll come in handy.
I
一応こ
jump
の
on
ゲ
stuff
ーム自
because
体
for
は
whatever
あれかな。
reason, whenever
初代のライ
you
オンキング
manage
とライ
to
オンキング
jump
2が元
onto
にな
an
ってる
enemy,
らしい
you
ので、
automatically pounce. You don't even need to press the
っ
button.
てことはあ
But
れ
it,
か
I
な。
think it depends on which particular enemy it is.
大きくなった
And
後
I
も
do
ちょっ
a
とやる
little
ってこ
roll
とかな。
here, mostly for swag, because it looks cool to see me rolling to the tip of Pride Rock.
Have respect for every living thing.
So that's Pride Rock done. And now we're on to the actual levels, starting with the graveyard, the elephant graveyard, where there will be hyenas everywhere. And I mostly avoid the ones that are in the first part of this level. But there is one that's kind of in the way that I just roll through to damage. And some hyenas will be throwing bones at me as well.
次のステー
And
ジ
you
に
can just roll to avoid those as well.
積んだっぽいですね。
So this is just mostly a lot of platforming. And you'll see me taking damage here and there. It's honestly not a big deal to take damage in this part of the stage, because like the damage you take from certain enemies or certain element things, such as the geysers going off, is very minimal.
これは これは当たっちゃいけないものでは。
Pickups that you can get throughout the game that are conveniently placed in spots where even if you take a whole bunch of damage, you can get those health upgrades and be able to fill up your health meter. Which, to note, the health meter only shows up when you see I got the the health upgrade there. The health bar only shows up when you take damage or you get the health upgrade. So it's kind of convenient that the meter just stays off to the side throughout these levels. And you might have noticed these random paw looking things. Those are paw tokens. You need to collect a certain amount of them in each level in order to pass the level. But honestly, because
弱い
there's
マグ
so
マって
many
なんだろう
enemies in the way, you don't need
クラッ
to
シュな
like
バン
go
デ
out
ィ
of your
ク
way
だ
to
と
collect them
もう
to
当たった時
beat
点で
the level.
終わってしまっているので
And this is the fight with Shenzi Banzai and Ed, which is super easy. You just need to pounce on them and kind of like finish them off by
ハイエ
rolling
ナ君
into
が肉に
them.
なってしまわれた
So
That
that's
went
the
real
elephant
nice.
graveyard done. Yep. They're like an easy mini boss, as I would like to call them. Which to note, there are only 2 actual bosses in this game. Most of the gameplay here is just levels. And so we're coming up on the first auto-scroller type stage, and it's Stampede. And we're gonna be trying our best to avoid getting stomped on by these wildebeest. And so in the meantime, this will probably be a really good time for donations if we have any.
Yeah, of course. And we do have some donations coming in. We have a great $5 donation from Pacific CC. It says, can we get a Haikuna Matata train going? I'll let this one slip because I agree we should get a haiku one. It says, run, run, Simba, run. Raise money for Malala. Good luck, DreamTora.
Only begun to learn.
Actually, like really appropriate timing.
Very appropriate timing. So yeah, I unfortunately took a death there, of course, right before the health upgrade. That'll happen sometimes, just I'll get into an unlucky spot of taking a lot of damage just from the wildebeest stepping on me. Because like their
こっ
pattern
ち
is
バンデ
really
ィク
weird, and you
バンディクー
kind
ト
of have
で
to
こっ
just
ち今ライオンだから
guess
多
where
少
they're
は
gonna go
こちらの方
and
が強
try
いかも
to
しれない
avoid them as much as you can. And there's like random little creatures that run out in your way as well. I have no idea what they're supposed to be. Like, they look like little gray foxes, but I've never been able to identify what they are. You'll be seeing those said creatures in a much later level, but that's Stampede done. And that's the last of the Cub Simba levels. We'll be starting into the adult Simba levels, starting with the one familiar scene from The Lion King where Nala chases after Timon and Pumbaa, so we have to go rescue them.
Help me! She's gonna eat me!
The classic Pumbaa line there. And so we're just going to be going through the jungle here, rolling through different enemies and platforming. And adult Simba pretty much controls the same as Cub Simba. The only real
い
difference
つの間にか大きくなってる
is the roar mechanic is different. Like the roar sounds different. But since we're not going to be using the roar at all in this run, you won't be able to hear it.
Checkpoint.
Wow, that threw me off. I usually like have to hold on to the edge there, so like me actually jumping onto that platform kind of threw me off a little bit. So it is actually faster to take that platforming path, because down below there is platforming over some water, and it's just overall slower. I rolled there to avoid those rocks, because for whatever reason, if you roll at the right time, you just don't get damaged at all by those rocks. And rocks tend to do a lot more damage than the typical enemies. And we're at the end, and we jump on Nala and bounce back, because she is a solid object, and Simba, whenever he comes across a solid object, he just kind of bounces back
な
from
のか
it.
な
And we're going to be coming into the final level of the first Lion King section, and that is Return of the King. And this is the level where we're going to be coming up on our first boss of the run, and that
こ
is
れであれ
Scar.
か、多
But
分
first, we got to do some really tricky
1の方
platforming.
のお話が、お話最後になるのかな。うん。ディフュートスカーって書いてあるからそうだな、多
And
分。
there's going to be a lot of hyenas around, so I got to be super careful. And also, there are buzzards all over the place, like there. And they like to ruin things for me here in this level because not only do they like fly in your way and hurt you, but while you're platforming, they can fly right in front of you. And if you bounce on them, you could very easily get bounced into the what do you call it? Into the void. Like you could fall down after bouncing on them because like
お
when
肉
you
は回
bounce
復アイ
off
テ
of
ムなんです
them, you
ね。
don't get much
今気づい
rain.
た。
So I'm gonna be super careful at times with platforming if I see they're flying right in front of me because oh, I was a little too careful there and that
Oh.
one kind of flew into me. Let's see if I can get the double rock jump here. Oh, unfortunately no, because so you could bounce off of rocks as well as they're tumbling down, and I've got many instances of the double rock jump where I bounce off of one rock and another rock happens to fall down right in front of me as I land, so I get the double rock jump. So you see me being careful there because of that bird in the way. I'm gonna be doing that here as well because of this particular bird. And we're already at Scar, the first boss. And Scar has a really cool trick you could do where he's on the ground for a little bit so you can keep pouncing on him, and he goes onto the cliff and does like an attack where a bunch of rocks fall
すごい、
down.
すごいスカー、くね
Well,
くね
you
して
can
るな。
actually hit him while he is on the cliff if you do a very
ここだけだっ
precise
た。
pounce. And I've gotten some really satisfying quick kills on him by like just pouncing him while he's on the cliff. So we'll see if we could get that. He's kind of just lollygagging here. There we go.
Young fool.
There we go. So that was lucky. So I managed to pounce him as he was jumping up onto the cliff.
笑っちゃいけ
So
ないけ
I
ど、
just
はい
kept pressing the
はい
pounce button repeatedly there, and I just took him down. And
あ、
so
今の
that's
シーン
the
あれ
first
か、
boss
映画のや
done
つそのまま
and the
使ってん
end
のか
of
な。
the Lion King 1 levels. Now we're going into the Lion King 2, starting with the fire. So Kiara is in a lot of trouble because she got caught in the middle of the fire, so we have to go and rescue her.
Wow, you're in a hurry. Where's the fire? Oh, yeah.
And so, like, these levels are probably the toughest out of all the levels in this game. And so you'll be seeing a lot of deaths from here on out. This level can be a little bit tricky because there's a lot of things
レ
that
スキュ
are
ーキャラってあったから、
out
あれ
to
か。
hurt you, including the animals that are running away from the fire, like the zebras and antelope.
ありがとうございます。そうですよね。1のスト
And
ーリー
these
終わって、今
rhinos.
2
So
に入ったと
rhinos,
ころですね。
remember that rhino for later on because we're going to be doing the whole level based on them. And rhinos do a ton of damage compared to a lot of other enemies, so kind of have to be careful with one of them, with them. There's these porcupines that are in the way.
そうみたいですね。こ
You
れ、
see, I'm
1と
dangerously
2
close
両
to
方
dying, so it's almost best to just let my
一応取り扱って、あ
die afterwards. Like, as long as I have a short
ー、チェックポイントとかそういうのはないの
checkpoint
かな。
that's pretty close to where I died, it's not a big deal. Oops.
いや、チェック
So
ポイン
you
ト入って
notice
今
with
の
like
ところがスタ
certain
ートなのか
enemies
な？
I defeat, like a piece of meat kind of like comes out of them. Sometimes when you defeat an enemy, it'll give you a little bit of health, but not very much. So I'm just gonna bounce off of this rhino, no big deal.
あ、お肉あった。助かる。
And don't worry about the fire texture in the background that looks ridiculously big for no reason at all. So if I fall at all here in this section, it's instant death if I fall into the fire. It's pretty much like if you fall into a pit. And so that's that level done. The next level is the bane of all of my runs, and that is the rhino chase. And if I actually manage to get through this level without dying once, then I would be super happy. It's actually happened before during practice, so we'll see how it goes. So rhinos are pretty much like wildebeest, only with a bigger hitbox. And there's also rocks that fall in your way, and Simba has a weird thing about being attracted to rocks, as I've joked about in the past. He likes to get stuck on rocks a lot, and when I do get stuck on rocks, it's a bad time because then the rhinos could catch up to me and like stomp all over me, and it's a really bad time. So hopefully Simba behaves himself.
なんかリザルト画面とか、あと途中のアニメーションとか、あとこうステージごとの
Actually,
こう音
ooh,
楽と
that
か
was lucky.
効果
So
音
I
は
went
なんか
back
映
and
画か
got that
ら
piece
ど
of
うや
meat
ら
for safety because I
引
was
用して
really
きてる
low
と
on
いう
health.
か、
And
素材を持ってきてるっぽいですね。
dying in this
さすがに
level
なんか
is
声優さ
not
んはどうやら
fun
変わってる
because
み
the
たいですけれ
checkpoints
ど
are
も。
kind of spread out from each other. So far, so good. See how the rest. Oops. Not
Like a
big
donation
deal.
while you're running.
What was that?
Would you like a donation while you're running?
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. We do have $10 coming in from JPEG, who says, Lion King, more like Lion Queen. Let's go, DreamTora.
Yeah.
Also wanted to
And
do
that is a deathless rhino chase. That is incredible.
Ooh, congrats.
Yeah, that is a rarity in itself because I die at least once or twice in rhino chase, so I'm super happy about that. But I can't exactly breathe easily just yet because these next two levels are going to be quite difficult. This one in particular because there are a lot of enemies, including our good friends the buzzards, that are going to be giving me a hard time. And the second part of this
ストーリー
level is one
に
where
入
I've
って
lost
る
a
ん
lot
だ
of
と思う
time
けれども、
because
プレイヤーはずっとシンバなのかな？
I've taken a lot of damage from falling rocks and such. And there's these random lionesses now instead of hyenas because The Lion King 2 has a villainess who is like the queen of all the lionesses. So that donation earlier about the Lion Queen seems very fitting here.
It does, yeah.
So here we go. We're going into the cave area. So I gotta be super careful because there are falling rocks in this area. This one right here, I like to do a little damage bounce off of. So I gotta be super careful because it's very easy to die just from having rocks fall on top. Wait here for that rock. Ooh. Thankfully, this is the end of the level, so me being really low in health there is not a big deal. And having a deathless outland attack level is also a big deal because I tend to take a lot of deaths here as well. So with that, we're on to our final level of the run, and that is the climb. Very simple name. This is where we're going to be going and confronting Zira, the final boss of the game. And once again, we're going to be trying not to get killed by falling rocks, lionesses, and buzzards. Oh my.
Zira って言ってるから多分。
And rocks do a lot of damage, as I mentioned before, so you saw like a good chunk of my health get taken off there. Thankfully, there are quite a bit of checkpoints. And there is a case of the buzzard causing me to fall to my death, because caused me to bounce at an inconvenient time. But thankfully, I had a checkpoint close to that spot, so there we go. So we're going to be coming up to the end in a little bit here, so if you have any last minute donations, now would probably be a good time.
Yeah, sure thing. Plus, we're about to hit a fifth of the way toward that catch Mew, which is very exciting. $10 until we're at that fifth of the mark. Speaking of, we do have $50 from Anonymous who says, catch Mew, do crimes. Well, also donating to a fantastic cause, of course. And we have $100 from Mom Flax. Thank you so much, Mom Flax. It's awesome.
All right, so this is the final boss, Zira.
佇んでる
She works pretty much the same as Scar.
鳥があれなのかな？チェックポイントなのかな？
The attack on her while she's on the cliff is trickier, even though her cliff is lower. I don't know if it's like something to do with the hitbox on her as she's on the cliff, but it's very hard to get a hit on her while she's on the cliff. So I'm going to be trying to get as much damage as I can to her while she's on the ground.
シーラだから多分これ
Oh,
が
and sometimes if I hit her,
めっちゃ
as she's jumping, she'll
めっ
clip
ちゃ
the cliff.
めっちゃ壁抜けるじゃないか めっちゃ壁抜けますね ここでもやはり
You're not a king.
And so now she's on the cliff and she's going to be constantly taunting Simba as a bunch of rolling logs come my way.
You'll never beat me. I guess it has to come to this.
Shouts to Cam Clark, who is the voice of
届かな
Simba
い
in this,
届かない
adult
ように
Simba
な
in
って
this
るんで
game.
すかね
You're not a king.
So, as I'm getting her health lower and lower, time is going to be as soon as I get the last hit on her. Which, of course, she's gonna waste my time.
最後の一撃がヒットした段階で、タイマーストップなのかしらあそうそうそうなんかちゃんと一応グラフィックがアニメっぽくてすごいこれプレイステーション1にしてはとても綺麗なんじゃないかという気が
I guess it has to come to this.
Never beat me. Sometimes she says like at least a few lines, but today it seems like she just wants to repeat the same line over and over. Come here.
いけるかこれ。
And time.
あ、タイマーストップ、グッドゲームです。
So yeah, with that, the final level was done, and we get a lovely ending, which I sadly have to skip because music. But yeah, that is The Lion King Simba's Mighty Adventure. I hope you all enjoyed that. I know, like, I really enjoyed showing it off on the GDQ stage. Just want to give a quick shout out to like the Frame Fatales for letting me show off this game, and also shout outs to the Lady Arcaders community, which is really where I got my start in participating in marathons. So a huge thanks to them, and a big shout out to everyone here, I guess, for watching, donating, and let's continue to, you know, raise money for Malala Fund. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Oh yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/DreamTora, where I do a variety of speedruns, so you can catch me there.
はい、というわけで、ザ・ライオンキング、シンバズ・マイティ、アドベンチャー、カテゴリー Any%、でした。それでは、次のタイトルの準備等ございますので、一旦失礼いたします。
And thank you all so much again for getting those donations in, not only for Malala Fund, but also for catching Mew. We can do it. We can make it, I believe. We have a $25 donation coming in from Jordan, who says, looking forward to that Fire Emblem run. Happy to donate to such a great cause. And yes, that is coming up soon, right after Grim Dawn, which is super exciting. But for now, did you know we're getting ready to see some awesome things coming up right after we take a quick break?